I'm taking up a subject which suddenly has become the most important subject for all of us, and everyone is talking about this issue. But from Ayurvedic perspective, our immunity, our ojas, what is known as in Sanskrit, has always been on the forefront, that how one need to sustain their immunity, how they need to build up that immunity. But the crisis what we are seeing in present situation, where it has made us to think why immune system is so important and what factor lead to causing problem in our immune system. So when we even look at our present situation, what has happened, and this nasty virus has unfortunately taken so many lives, and it is still not able to be under control as we want to. But looking at this situation, one would like to understand and ask the question, how these viruses, how these bacteria affect us, and is it something new which Ayurveda has never ever understood in the past? That is not the case, but it is actually opposite to that. Even though our Western medicine totally agree with the immune system, they also have the same principle that every individual's body has that immune strength to fight with all the viruses and bacteria. But in Ayurveda, this science, this subject has been so elaborately discussed even 5,000 years ago. But at the same time, they have not only just discussed that, yes, we have our immune system, they have given very clear factor that what are the cause, how our immune system get compromised, and what are the ways that we can build our immune system on a day-to-day basis. Because what Ayurveda say to us, that bacteria and viruses are always there, and they can affect any one of us at any stage. But it determines whether that virus or bacteria will be able to get activated in your system. It all depends upon one's immune system, immune strength. And reason why Ayurvedic principle or Ayurvedic understanding make this immune system theory more and more workable, because in Ayurveda we consider that each individual has a unique body makeup, and each individual has their own bodily intelligence. And as long as that bodily intelligence is in balanced state, your bodily intelligence has the ability to flush out all the built-up of the toxins which can get built in every individual on a day-to-day basis, the wear and tear that taking place in our system. And that's what this viruses does in our system. When they enter in our body, they need that conducive environment to grow. And even if we talk about this present virus, which is impacting everyone's respiratory system, lungs, that when there is a conducive environment in an individual's body, that will impact it more seriously and more actively. You might have already seen the cases. Look at what happened, unfortunately, in Italy or Spain, or happening even in USA. Reason why I'm giving you these examples, because this immune system is in our hand to keep it in our optimum state or let it slip out of our hand. Yes, this unfortunate situation has made everyone now to be aware about their immune system, but every one of us has different way of understanding about how to improve our immune system. Many might be just thinking that eating organic food might increase my immune system. Someone might think that I'm just going to eat salad now and I can increase my immune system. Some might be just thinking that, okay, let's start running now 5-6 kilometers a day and that might improve my immune system. Or to many of us, even just taking different kind of vitamins and minerals and supplement that might help us to build up our immune system. But nothing wrong in any of these things. I'm not saying that these things are not helpful, but question comes up, does these things help us really to keep our immune system in more stable state? Answer will be no, because what Ayurveda talk about, that until or unless on a regular basis we make right choices in our life, right choices in respect to what we eat, what we feed our body, and what we feed our mind. These are the two aspects which no other science in the world talk about that can play an important role in one's immune system. And the reason of that is we might be able to make right choices in our food selection, but then there are so many other factors which we talk about, the mind factor. If there is a lot of stresses going, anxieties, fear, even your anger, frustration, jealous, if those all factors are there, no matter how good things I'm eating, it will impact me as badly as it can impact anyone. So those are the few things which Ayurveda talk about more. Now look at some other aspect now. If we just see what has happened recently, yes, agree that this is in a very unfortunate panic kind of situation where everyone is trying to make their best way how we can survive in this lockdown period. And even though this situation has made us to think of our immune system, but look in, I'm sure all of you must have gone to supermarket and you must have seen the crazy scene there in every supermarket. People are picking up whatever comes in their hand so that they can store all that what they can. And 99% time, if you will see their trolleys, they are full of all tin food, frozen food, processed food, which they are trying to build up during this time. All those shelves with these different kind of food are empty. But if you go toward the section of vegetables and fruit, those sections are still in the same way, the foods are there. And someone might say that, look, hang on, this period is in a lockdown and we want to prepare ourselves in way that in coming days whatever we can eat and we don't need to go out, so we are picking up that kind of food. No harm in that. But while we are at home, we can definitely try to cook fresh vegetables. We will have heaps of time. Again, in the same way, not necessarily you need to talk about just the vegetarian food. You can eat meat also, but why we have to look at all the time in those kind of things which we consider from Ayurvedic aspect more stale food, more dead food, which does not have that prana. Prana means your that life force, and that impact your immune system more than anything else. Now, coming back to this present situation of this present virus which is impacting us, people ask that okay, what we can do. We know there is no medicine yet from our mainstream, but it does not mean that I don't need to do something which can help me to prevent, even if I get in contact with this virus. And reason of me saying is because even we see the stats, a lot of cases are getting infected and being coming up positive, and then we always read the unfortunate situation of deaths. But at the same time, there are people who are recovering. So question comes up, why they get recovered? What treatment the same medical system is giving to them as compared to the others who can't recover? And that straight away gives the answer to us that that's the person's immune system, immune strength, that ability to fight with that disease even though there is no treatment for that disease. And this is where the solution still comes up from Ayurvedic perspective, that as long as on a daily basis we can make an effort that we make that kind of choices in our day-to-day life, in regard to our eating, in regard to our thinking, that does not let my immune system get affected. So come back to the virus part again. When we are talking about the viruses, these viruses means, as I shared, will need a conducive environment. And how our system work, the moment you will have any foreign body in our system, body's immune strength, immune system will send our defense forces in the form of WBCs, white blood cells. And there are two kind of white blood cells, which we always know that T cells are there and B cells are there. They have the ability to fight with any kind of virus. But now, because this virus is totally new to the system, it has never been attacked to the human bodies. That is why that immune system is a bit confused. But immune system is confused only when that immune system is compromised. If your immune system is still have that ability to identify that there is a new kind of enemy has entered in my system, it is still sending the defense forces, but in a way that they don't create that what we call as cytopenic syndromes and other aspects, which actually create more inflammation from the defense system rather than from the virus itself. But that only happened when there is an already compromised immune system of an individual. So what sort of things one can do? And even if we talk about what we can do in our present situation, just giving you some tips. Even if, say, now one need to start to create a defense sort of layer around us. Every day, if when we wake up, first thing, if you can do, rather than just be in the bed all the time, straight away jump out of the bed, go to bathroom, and brush your teeth and scrape your tongue. Reason why we need to do that? For that, I will ask you to have a look at your tongue. And you will always find that there is a bit of white coating in the back of your tongue. That coating actually is nothing but the reflection of our health on a day-to-day basis, because that's an accumulation of the toxin which our body produces. So our first goal is to remove that rather than let it go inside. And the best solution for that is brush your teeth and scrape your tongue with a tongue scraper. That is one thing. Second thing, every one of us in this present situation should make this drink, which we call as our simple detox drink for the morning, but you can drink it now at least 3 or 4 times a day. What that drink is: a glass of warm water. In that you add half teaspoon fresh grated ginger, half teaspoon honey, half teaspoon lemon juice. That becomes a simple detox drink for every one of us. Then the same drink you can repeat in the throughout the day. Then second important thing is, if you can just take 2 drops of warm cold pressed black sesame oil and just put in your nostrils, that will be very, very helpful. Now someone might ask, okay, what is this weird kind of thing and why I need to do that and how it will help me to fight with the virus? We just need to remember, when the virus is coming up, even if it comes from the infected person in the form of sneeze, what we do is we breathe it. Breathe always happen through the nose. So when you are breathing that virus, this oily sesame oil will create a barrier and not let that virus go straight into your system. And by the time, even if the virus is there, your defense mechanism, defense forces will come in that localized areas and start fighting and not let it go further. That's just in a one way to create a defense line there. And this nasal drop you can always do half an hour before you have thought of going out for your shopping and like that. That will be another one thing. Another very, very important part in this time is, every one of us should do gargle. What is gargle? Glass of warm water. In that you put half teaspoon of Himalayan salt or black salt. If those who knows about black salt, they should use that. Otherwise you can use that Himalayan salt, what we call as pink salt. Even if you don't have that, just use normal sea salt. And then if those who know about turmeric, yellow stuff, you can add quarter teaspoon of that too and do gargle. Why gargle? How it will work? Again, the same thing is, your second passage of taking that virus is your mouth. So when you do gargle, that warmthness and the antiseptic, antiviral role of turmeric, and then the salt, that black salt, which is full of various minerals, that will create a coating in the mouth. And again, the moment that virus is coming up, it can attack it, it can create that bubble against it and help us to expel it and not let it go in. So again, this gargle, if you can do 3 or 4 times a day, that will be very, very helpful. If you are a little bit more active and can do one more regime to fight with this virus, what you can do, take 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. In that you add quarter teaspoon turmeric, half teaspoon black salt, quarter teaspoon black pepper, and half teaspoon honey. And what you need to do is take the whole this liquid in your mouth and move around. Move it for 1 minute and then spit it and sip warm water. Again, if you can do 2 times, even 3 times, great. Reason, the same thing. What you are doing is you are creating a protective layer in your mouth. Again, the passages through which virus can go. Then another thing is, make sure you always eat warm and cooked food. That is your, I'm sure most of you must be doing anyway. And eat only warm food and drink only warm water. Another aspect of this is that when you are going out, if you can just keep it in your hand, some cloves. Cloves is a one spice. if everyone knows about that, that's great. Otherwise, what you can do is you can just use even cardamom and hold in your mouth and keep chewing it while you are out shopping and other things. So these are the few things which for present virus you can do that. And again, if someone want to know more about this defense or immune system, that how actually one get the immune system and how we can sustain it. First of all, our immune system come from our parent. So when at the time of birth, mom and dad's physical and mental health is responsible for giving us that ability, what we call as your immune strength, which relate with your RNA and DNA factor. Now, this is another aspect. Present days, we don't keep more focus on that. We never, as a mom and dad, would be mom and dad, given a thought that whether at the time of conception we both are in a good state of health, physical, mental, and emotional. If not, no matter whether the little one is born with a golden spoon in their mouth or silver spoon, this is what we call it, that little one will be always having a problem. And when that little one has the problem, even though that little one get born very healthy, but throughout now in the first year or 2 year, if mom who is breastfeeding, if her eating patterns are not compatible to her body makeup and she is eating such kind of things which can build more and more that environment which will make that little one to get affected by these bacteria and viruses, not necessarily this virus of COVID-19, but in general you can see many time kids get a lot of congestions, lot of cold kind of things, and a lot of diarrhea, gut issues. Why that is happening? Because whatever they get as far as nourishment, that come from the mom, and if the mom's lifestyle, mom's diet is not compatible, it will impact that little one. Now, as a responsible parent, what we do is we take those little one to the our GP, and GP then might initially just give you Panadol and those kind of things to counter the fever. But if that is recurrent, is happening quite often, which is always the case, he might have to advise some kind of antibiotic. But the moment antibiotics start with any individual, that little one's immune strength will start compromising, because we all know when the antibiotics are coming up, they not only affect your infections or other aspects which are building up in your body, they also impact your healthy cells. And once that cycle start happening, that vicious cycle will start compromising the immune strength of the little one. So that is where we must always keep in consideration that it is not just that I do my part and go and take my little one to my doctors and get the antibiotics all the time. And that's why you always will see how the increase of antibiotics and then to the inhalers and then to the other kind of strong medications keep coming up. And then that little one who is born healthy will ultimately be more prone to various kind of problems in their life. So that's one part of the immune system which we need to understand. And then related comes up part when we are as an adult, what considerations we need to keep it in mind. The few considerations which I just shared, they based on that principle of Ayurveda, that on a daily basis we must follow certain such regime which help us to eliminate the build-up of the toxin which get built in every individual and flush them out, not let them build up in our system. And this way you will able to keep your bodily intelligence in a much more stable state. That is one part. And then you are making wrong choices, which we all do. And if now when Ayurveda talk about these things, they relate not just to make us more rigid. Idea is how we can enjoy everything in our life by living a bit more with awareness. I never tell anyone that you can only build your immune system when you will leave Auckland or leave other cities and go to Himalayas. That is not the way immune system get built. You can build immune system wherever you are. What we need to do is we need to make an effort to live with awareness. And what is awareness? Awareness is if you understand your body makeup, that is very, very good. But even if you don't understand your body makeup, you can still make right choices. Now, when we say right choices in your selection of the food. And then the consideration of the season comes up. Say, for example, as we are now going towards the winter season, now what we need to understand is if I keep feeding my body with a lot of those kind of food which are cold, damp, moist, because outside environment is of that kind of thing. In winter you will have coldness, dampness, moistness, heaviness, stickiness. These are the qualities I am talking about will be predominant. And if my selection of the food is like bread I am eating, cheese I am eating, muffins, cake, banana, ice cream, pasta, cold water, cold drinks, what I am doing is I am inviting the problem to me, because that cold, damp, moist environment will impact your respiratory system, and your lungs are naturally related with that kind of environment. And if that environment is now being created by an individual, then such viruses will be more and more conducive environment for them, and we are inviting problem. As compared to if we create an opposite environment, we can have the ability to fight with that virus. No matter how strong it is, how foreign it is to the body, it will be difficult for that virus to grow. That's the one part. And then second thing we need to look at is if I'm making selection of a lot of processed food in my life. So what kind of processed food we talk about? If you are always into chips kind of things and crisps, or even though you might say, okay, look, my chips are always organic and super organic, so why you are creating such a fuss? Again, no matter whether they are organic or super organic, what we need to look at is the qualities. Chips are chips. Chips are loaded with the salt. Chips are dry. Chips are rough. Chips are another. If you're picking up the more like fish and chips kind of thing, they are oily. So those kind of thing and will be impacting you. And then look at what we normally do. If you are eating those chips, you always have a cold drinks with them, which again adding fire, adding oil to the fire. That's what we, there is a saying that you add ghee is in one kind of another rejuvenative thing, which a lot of us will always feel that, oh my goodness, is another poison you are talking about. And this is what Ayurveda is all about. Ayurveda talk about those kind of things which are being considered by many of us that are poison, but if they are used in a correct way, they can be the nectar, they can be the lifesaver for all of us. And that's how the Ayurvedic principles are getting more and more now acceptable by wider uh, public. Now then next question comes up, okay, hang on, how I can build up my immune system now, what I should do? Again, as I said, some of the regimes I have already given you. That is what we should do. And if you keep building that part as well as making an awareness in your life, you should be able to build your immune system. But you might say, okay, hang on, these things really does not seem that going to do any good to me. I'm actually more interested. Can you tell me some immune booster products or something which I can go and buy that? Sure, I can tell you. And this is what going to happen anyway, especially now when the world is going through this crisis. We will get out of it. That is for sure. We will win over, even though it's in a battle that we are losing a lot of our loved one and near and dear's one. But at the end, each country's health department will be able to play and make it controlled with different ways everyone is doing. But then what will happen? There will be another mafia will take over the world, which we call as immune booster product on the shelf, because that is the sad part of our business world, that we always want to play on the fear of people. So different kind of immune booster products will be always in the market, whether it is the uh, omega 6 or omega 12 or whatever, that kind of thing. People don't want to take initiative, don't want to take the responsibility of their health in their own hand. And that's what Ayurveda always share with us, that if you can play a role actively for your well-being with your own effort, you don't need to rely on anything. You might use something, but use in a natural way. Say example, I can share with you. Look at the turmeric. I'm sure many of you must have heard about this turmeric. Turmeric is one of the best kitchen herb, which is used for as an antiviral, antiseptic, blood purifier. But now, recently, world has become more aware about it, and now trying to use it in a natural way, still in a bit of a resistance from people, and using that fear and that reservation of the public. What our drug mafia companies has done, they have put those turmeric into capsule form and try to sell them $90 or $60 or $70 by just enhancing that this is in a double strength turmeric capsule, and this is in a extract of the turmeric active constituent and curcuma and kind of things and like that, and making people fool. Because if those companies will say and advise that person that you can just buy $2 of turmeric and use in your cooking and make your food as medicine, that person is not going to make anything, but he or she will contribute toward the well-being of that individual, which he is not interested. He can only make money by selling that $90 capsule bottles, because $2 is the cost, one another dollar of the bottle, and then other money goes into his pocket. And that's how problems will be coming up in the coming days. So don't let such thing happen. Must follow your daily routines and daily regimes. As I shared, this is what we call as power of our daily routines and daily regimes, and living with the awareness. Make the right choices about your food selection, and then enjoy the life. If you're still interested what kind of products someone can advise, in Ayurveda there is a one specific product which is rich with the vitamin C, we known as chavan prash, which is one of the oldest rejuvenative tonic, which you can buy, but try to buy not the commercial one, try to buy which is more therapeutic one. Reason when I'm saying commercial one, lot of these chavan prash, because it's in a very very famous, very common and very specific rejuvenative Ayurvedic product, but again at the same time it is misused by many companies in regard to their manufacturing. In this product, there is a one main ingredient known as amla, gooseberry, amblica, which is richest source of vitamin C along with the other rejuvenative herbs. But instead of that, sometimes many people even put this what you call as sweet potatoes or kumra, which we call is in New Zealand. So that is where the problem comes. And then on top of that, they use it with loaded white sugar, as compared to it should always be used raw sugar, jaggery or honey. So that's where you will find the difference in different kind of qualities of the preparation. Then there are herbs which you should can use in your cooking all the time. Turmeric I already shared. Try to incorporate ginger, garlic, onion, cinnamon, cardamom, ajwain. Another seed is very very specific to eliminate the toxins from our system. And then fennel. These are the herbs which help us to make our food as medicine. That is what the focus of Ayurveda is in reference to the immune system, and that's what we all should do. I hope that give you a bit of confidence in your own action, in your own thoughts, that we can do something, not waiting, not living with that fear and anxiety that if there is no vaccine, there is no medicine, this virus can attack us. As I shared, virus will always be there. New viruses will keep coming all the time, because the way our whole world's is this virus is also has come up what we call as mistake of intellect, the way people are eating certain things, and that has led to the whole world into trouble. But those things one cannot change. What we can change, what we can take the responsibility, we can take the responsibility of our well-being in our own hand and make effort to, on a daily basis, not just waiting for the problems to come up, just do on a daily basis certain simple these regimes, and it will help you. I will just give you one extra component if you want to use this Ayurvedic principle a little bit more in your life. There is one app which I have developed a year ago, known as Chit Yog Sadhana. This app is a very specific systematic understanding towards well-being, and if you will start following it, it has 6 stages which will help you to cross each stage, and each stage will give you that level of understanding that how you can take your own health in your own hand by incorporating it is a very very powerful tool. It's not that because I have developed it, if you will use it you will know about it, that how good it is and how beneficial it can be. So that's what I would like to share today with this subject, and thanks for everyone those who have joined, and we will be in touch for next time. Thank you.